Welcome, dear friends, to Kardec Radio at 11 p.m., nourishing our souls with the Spirit of Truth. And the Spirit of Truth is this phenomenal book that came in 1960 to 61, 60 years ago, through two mediums. And these two mediums, Waldo Vieira and Chico Xavier, were the mediums of a group of superior spirits who bring to us extensions of the truth. As we evolve, we come to know more and more of the truth. Right now, what we know is very little. Little by little, we're going to evolve, mature spiritually, and God gives us more opportunities to understand the truth. It's so important to understand the laws of life, to comply with them, to be dutiful, and dutiful before the law of love. Today, we're going to talk about being merciful. Hilario Silva, who is Andre Louis' friend, as you see in his books, he comes to us to tell a story of someone who was a spiritist in Brazil and really, in a most critical time, was able to be deeply merciful. Are you ready? Yes. Let us ask ourselves, are we merciful? Usually we were not because we're still very combative. We have inner conflicts that are unresolved, and we can't wait to battle with people, to fight, to find a way to be justice makers. No. With the Christ consciousness, we learned that that is gone. It's an old conditioning that no longer belongs to the current times. So let us see what Hilario Silva has to tell us today. He is going to quote item 3 of chapter 10 of the Gospel according to Spiritism. Blessed are the merciful. And item 3 is a quote from the New Testament in Matthew chapter 18, verses 15, 21, and 22. If your brother has sinned against you, go to him and make his wrong known in private between you and him. If he listens to you, you will have gained a brother. Then Peter approached him and said, Lord, how many times shall I forgive my brother when he has sinned against me? Up to 7 times. Jesus answered him, I do not tell you up to 7 times, but up to 70 times, 7 times. As Kardec says in the next item, mercy is the complement of meekness, because whoever is not merciful cannot be meek and peaceable. Mercy consists in forgetting and forgiving offenses. Hatred and rancor denote a soul that is neither advanced nor great. You can keep reading, and we should read this. You know why? It's effort and repetition. We are learning these things. We have the seed of mercy inside of us, but we need to cultivate it. Today, you and I are being asked to cultivate our capability of being merciful. And here comes Hilario Silva. Through the hands of these mediums, wonderful mediums, Waldo Vieira and Chico Xavier, and released to us a true account. It was about a man named Luis in Brazil, in the capital of the state of São Paulo, in the city of São Paulo. He was crossing one major road in that pioneering capital when he was shot by a gun and the commotion started up. People and guards came along, whistles and exclamations. The boy, poor and armed, was arrested and brought to the presence of the victim. Louis was scared but serene. The bullet had simply hit the book that was sustained by his hand against his chest. It's almost like this. He was like this. Which book was he holding, friends? And that book was the Gospel according to Spiritism, with which he was heading to certain meeting on behalf of a sick person. The young man who was being arrested was pale. He said, I apologize. The shot was casual, but the police, as usual, was furious and kept him tight. Louis, however, seeking peace, opened the signed book and said, let us see the message from the gospel. And in the face of the general amazement of the people, he read one page, the beautiful reference from chapter 10. Blessed are those who are merciful. And he read, then approaching Peter said to him, Lord, how many times will I forgive my brother when there is sin against me? Up to 7 times? Jesus answered him, I do not tell you to forgive up to 7 times, but up to 70 times, 7 times. When Louis finished his brief reading, the arrested boy knelt on the street and began to sob. Only then the young man explained that he was about to murder his own brother, who had harmed him in an inheritance process, and promised to give up the purpose forever. The end. What a message. What about us? In a scale 0 to 10, how merciful have we been before people who commit wrongs against us? Sometimes intentionally, but many times unintentionally. How do we feel? Kardec explains to us in the Spirit's book and in the Gospel according to Spiritism that feeling hatred, not able to forgive offenses, is a sign of our level of evolution. We need to boost our level of evolution. So today, as we're being asked to practice mercy, which is part of being meek and peacemaker, we're going to get another book. As you know, the Family Virtues Guide. And here, there's a list of several virtues. Amongst them, we're going to find mercy, page 181. Why is this so important? Because we're being asked to practice mercy. What is mercy? Justice is giving people what they deserve. Mercy is giving people more than they deserve. Mercy is a quality of the heart. Being merciful means to treat others with compassion and forgiveness. When you're being merciful, you're willing to forgive when you have been hurt. Being merciful is being willing to start all over, to wipe the slate clean of all mistakes and hurts and give people another chance. God is very merciful to us by giving us lots of blessings and lots of chances to keep learning from our mistakes. Mercy means you feel for someone who is suffering and do something to help them. A mercy is a blessing. When you practice mercy, you're giving others the gift of your tenderness. And actually, we're practicing it because that's the law of God. To practice mercy, How do we practice it? When we forgive, when we forget. So you and I today are being asked to cleanse our hearts, to do what this man Luis in Brazil did. He forgave, and in forgiving, he helped the young man stop from doing something even worse. Some people are going to hurt us unintentionally, and if we forgive them, if we're merciful, we're going to be also giving them a hand in not doing even worse things with other people. You and I today are being asked to stop the meal of wrongdoings inside of us. We can't be merciful with others if we're not merciful with ourselves. Inside of us, we have portions from previous lives that we do not forgive in ourselves. We won't be able to be merciful with others if we're not merciful with ourselves. Forgiving and forgetting the things, thinking only of the good, seeking the good. In the next 24 hours, you and I are being asked to the Mercy Task Force. Let us repeat as many times as we can the affirmation, I am merciful. I can be merciful. And I emanate mercy. I forgive and forget everything and everyone in my life. Let us feel the sweet invitation from above and trust inside of us that we can and we shall be merciful. Thank you, God, for your mercy. Count on us to co-create mercy with you today and forever. And so be it. Thank you, friends. A big hug to you. May this be a merciful day. We'll see you tomorrow, God willing.